Hello and a very warm welcome to this latest edition of Talking Germany, the show where we do just that. And today we're going off-road to get some breathtaking sports action because my guest here in the studio is a professional mountain bike rider, one of Germany's best indeed. And here he is in person, Amir Kabbani. Amir, thank you very much for joining us here today on Talking Germany.
Sure.
It's wonderful to have you here. Now, I can guarantee you can look forward to some fascinating footage as we get a feel for Amir's sport, where he specialises in what's called free riding, and in particular the disciplines of park, slope style and dirt. He'll be explaining all those terms to us and much more besides. The one thing that is for sure is that this is a sport that requires massive determination, dedication, athleticism and, above all, courage. Amir, thank you once again for being here. We're going to talk about all the technical stuff in a little bit, but I want to begin by talking about you. How are you?
I'm actually doing really good, considering that I injured myself 2 months ago, actually pretty bad. And I was pretty lucky, and I'm pretty happy to be here and be in one piece, so that's good.
Tell us the story, because when you say you were injured pretty badly, it was more serious than that, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I broke my back, so that's something really serious, especially for us riders. Some people had not as much luck as me, and I know how close it was, or how kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy considering this situation. So
okay, so let's have a look at. We've got some photos where we can see exactly what happened. Yeah, Amir, tell us exactly what's going on there.
Well, that's right after the crash. I mean, I was working on a new trick, and I landed straight on my head after like.
You landed on your head?
Yeah, right with my head in the ground. I guess it was around 4 meters maybe, and there was a big impact, big pain through my whole body, and so that's like the first days or the 5th day in the hospital. I was able to walk again with this what's that?
Like a corset.
Corset, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was already this kind of thing that you can't walk or can't move for 5 days. That was a horrible feeling for me. I wasn't sure. And the beginning of the recovery, I wasn't sure that I needed injury or not. So I wasn't sure if I'll be able to ride as good as before.
When you were lying there on the ground and you were getting the initial treatment, yeah, you must have been feeling really powerless, and you must have. What thoughts were going through your head? What was the worst case scenario for you at that point in time?
I can't really tell you exactly. There was just too many thoughts. I was scared. I was hurt. Everything was hurting. There was a crazy pain going through my body, and I didn't really know what's going on. I was just waiting for the painkiller and then to calm down. So yeah. I didn't really want to think too much during this situation, because I already knew I don't want to overthink it while it's bad, you know? So.
Yeah. And this was an accident that took place during training. The sports season is now on. You are out of action, yeah? Where are you doing well in terms of getting back to training now?
Yeah, I'm actually doing really good. Mm-hmm. I mean, since 2 weeks now, I'm actually able to do my normal daily, like the usual things, you know,
routine.
Just the basic things, and I just pretty much started 2 days ago to do some slow cross-country runs on the street, and actually get to do some easy exercises. So that's really cool for me. I mean, that's a really good start to getting the right direction. And
yeah.
So yeah.
It all sounds so rational and so clear in your head, but I'm just wondering, I mean, you're a young guy, you've fallen from 4 meters onto your head, you've broken your back. You must be asking yourself at some stage, why am I doing this?
Well, that's a thing I don't want to think about too much. I mean, I ask myself, do I want to keep doing this?
Yeah.
And I said yes. So I don't want to overthink the whole situation. Yeah. So that's just my way how I'll deal with the injury, and just that makes me heal way faster.
No doubt.
Yeah. Bigger motivation, for sure.
Bigger motivation. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it there. You've had your first impressions from Amir there. Here is more.
Amir Kabbani is in his element. In the prize-winning web video In the Woods, he struts his stuff, jumping over all sorts of obstacles. The 24-year-old extreme athlete makes his living with stunts like this.
The fact that all you need is some wood and a bit of dirt to build a jump and fly over it with your bicycle is indescribable. That's what makes our sport special, that you can fly through the air on a bicycle. It's very cool.
Kabani started mountain biking when he was 13. At 16, he took part in his first competitions and soon decided to turn pro. Now he's one of the world's top dirt bike riders. Dirt bikes are special mountain bikes. They're small and maneuverable. It's not about speed, it's about technique and the difficulty of the jumps in the disciplines of free riding and slopestyle. Kabani's hometown is Boppard on the Rhine. He grew up here with 3 siblings. His mother is German and his father is a doctor from Syria. His parents weren't enthusiastic about his choice of career at first. Now they're proud of his success. The highly specialized bikes made of carbon fiber and aluminum cost up to 6,000 euros. Kabani gets the various parts from his sponsors and assembles the bikes himself. He practices his stunts several hours a day on a circuit he built himself in a nearby forest. This is a backflip. And this is a tail whip.
It's from the English expression tail for the back of the bike. I hold the bike by the front end and do a complete rotation with the back.
Kabani practiced this technically difficult stunt for 2 years. Free riders often fly 10 meters at great speed. There's a great risk of injury. Helmets and protectors are compulsory. The extreme athlete wants to remain in international competition until he's 30. And today, he's our guest on Talking Germany, Amir Kabani.
Amir, when you're doing one of those really spectacular jumps and you're flying through the air and you're at the top of the jump, what are you thinking?
I'd say I'm not thinking too much. I'm just, focusing on my trick or even enjoying the airtime or being upside down. I mean, it's just the coolest feeling ever.
I bet it is, yeah. It's not a feeling I'm ever going to know. Let's go back to your early days. Yeah, you were a sports-mad youngster.
What's that? Sorry?
You were really very, very interested in sports when you were a young boy. You tried all sorts of different sports.
Yeah, pretty much. I went for everything. I did tennis, I did judo, I did swimming, and everything just got bored after some time, so...
Why? Yeah?
I don't know, just something was missing.
Something was missing, and then one day, when you were 13 years old, you see a couple of guys coming round the corner and down the hill or up the hill, I don't know where they were going, and you thought, tell me about that.
Yeah, there was just some guys with some moto helmets and stuff, and I just thought that's so cool. They might be doing something cool or dangerous, and I was a young kid, so I just followed them, and that was the time when I fell in love right away with the sport, and when I saw those guys just flying around with their bicycles. I mean, it's just too cool. You
thought it was exciting, cool, and dangerous. And the dangerous, you thought, danger is good, yeah?
Not really. I wouldn't even say that. I can actually remember the day or the first time when I started, I was even scared of doing this, but it was just too cool for me. So, I just really wanted to do this kind of sport, so I just got used to it and just got more comfortable, so less scared.
You were a 13-year-old guy, and I've read about you that you were the kind of guy who... How were you doing at school at that time?
Actually, not too bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not too bad. I wasn't really focusing on it. I mean...
Because I'm told that you were the kind of guy who finds it, I mean, I'm watching you sitting here and you're sitting very, very calmly indeed on a television show, but I'm told that when you were a youngster, you were the kind of guy who found it very difficult to sit still.
Yeah.
Yeah, true?
So, yeah, that's actually pretty true, but I'm very sure that this sport or mountain biking itself just helped me, a lot. Yeah. Because I was just riding every day, and I just put every power I had just into the sport. So next day I was just really tired from the riding the day before. So I was more chilled and less loud.
Okay. You decided when you were 17 years old, I think, that this is what you wanted to be doing for a career. You wanted to become a professional rider, yeah? And you told your parents, first of all, I presume, yeah? Not happy.
Yeah, not too happy in the beginning.
Not too happy.
I mean, they were kind of recognizing what direction I'm going, that I'm actually focusing so much on those things, on this sport. Yeah. So they kind of had a feeling, maybe. I wasn't telling too much, but one day I came to my dad and just said, Dad, I got the opportunity. I can move to Munich. There's a big indoor place. I want to practice there and want to turn pro, like, the whole way. And he didn't say too much. It was just like, I don't know, he said, OK, do it.
You went to Munich, you were 17 years old. Why Munich specifically? Did you have somebody there who was going to be training you or somebody who you could link up with?
Because the time I moved there was like a massive indoor place, like a big indoor hall. Mm-hmm. So we had like perfect opportunities to practice. Didn't really matter what time so that was pretty perfect, and all my sponsors were there, so that was the reason.
And then you began to establish yourself. You were a professional when you were 17 years old, and you began to establish yourself in the sport. How does that work? Do you join a team? Do you join a club? Or what are the structures?
Well, it's pretty much myself. I mean, there's always friends who you ride with, but I'm riding for myself, and I'm competing for myself, for my success. So. Okay,
and you're a professional. Where does the money come from? Does it come from, is it prize-winning money or? Yeah?
It depends. There's quite a few things you can do. You could either ride shows, or you can win prize money, or you get money through web video views, or mainly your sponsors. That's what pays your rent and stuff. Okay. And
are there, in your sport, are there superstars? Are there sort of figures who are earning pots of money, who are internationally recognized figures?
Well, I'd say there's quite a few Americans who make really good money, considering the size of the sport we're doing. So there's definitely some guys who make good money. Yeah. I'm doing okay too, so nothing to complain about.
Good. I said at the beginning of the show that three things are very important for your sport. One is dedication. That means you sort of live for the sport. One is athleticism, yeah? And the other one is courage. Which of those three is the most important?
I'd say these days, probably like 10 years ago, it was more like a freestyle sport. And now it gets more and more important that you actually focus and have, like all the energy to put in there. And it's just like, you need all kinds of things. I mean, you need to have, like, your mind needs to be free. You have to practice way harder than the years before. And it just needs a good mix of everything.
Courage is very important, though, clearly, because, I mean, I know that you have said about your sport is viewed as an extreme sport. And I think the problem with extreme sports these days is that they're becoming more and more extreme. You can't stand still. You can't say, well, I can do that trick, or I can do that routine, because the next day somebody's going to come along and go one little bit further. But you go a little bit further and the risk is greater.
Or you get better. I mean, there's progression. There's progression on two sides. I mean, it's not only about the riders and the crazy tricks. The bikes are getting better. They're getting lighter. There's more. You can do maybe more tricks, or can add another trick or another combination. It has influence from different sides. So it's not only about going crazier and crazier every year.
There's a guy in your sport. He's been a big name in recent years, called Tarek Razzouli. Tell me his story.
Well, yeah, Tarek is, right now, he's like the main organizer of every European event. And he was used to ride bikes too, like really in the first or early days. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he had a big crash, and right now he's sitting in a wheelchair after that. So,
it's a tough story.
That's a tough story. And he was one of the first guys who called me when I was lying in hospital. But
that's interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's also a friend, so yeah, we had some good moments to talk about it. But sure, that's how it is.
That's how it is. Yeah. You say of yourself, I've read about you saying, I get frightened, I have nightmares.
Sometimes. It's just when you love something so much that you spend the most of the time with thinking about it, even when you want to sleep. You know, it's too much in your head. I'm too much mountain bike not to do it, you know?
Okay.
So
it's in your blood, it's in your head, it's...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the other guy's doing, but that's me.
It's interesting because I'm going to ask you a really funny question now. It will seem very funny to you. You're 24 years old, yeah? Are you old for your sport? Are there, you know, because you've been in your sport for, you know, 7 years now, yeah? Are there now young guns, young kids coming up, putting you under pressure who are like 18, 19, and who are willing to take greater risks, who are willing to push the envelope still further?
Well, there's always newcomers. I mean, but it's just... I mean, I've been in this sport for around 7 or 8 years, or in the contest scene, and I've seen people coming and going, and actually people who got too old, who left or did less. I feel this, I recognize this, but right now I'm still right in it. There's people who are 30 or older, and so I'm doing still pretty good, yeah.
Good for you. OK, Amir Kabbani, who is right in it, has been involved in an ongoing film project with a photographer and filmmaker called Lukas Thielke. And what they've come up with is pretty spectacular, to put it mildly. The first film was In the Woods, that was the name of it, and because that one went down so well, they've followed it up with, you've guessed, In the Woods 2. So let's get a feel for what it's all about. Amir, that's interesting. That's a great film. I watched all of it at home, yeah. Once on my own and then another time with my son and with my daughter. They were very impressed. At the end of the film, we see you there planting a tree. Yeah? Why? What's all that about?
Well, I love nature and I love the woods. I love being in the woods. That's why the title. And for me, the beginning of the movie, we wanted to create a story around the movie. So I cut that tree. And at the end,
we see you with an axe. Yeah, you take an axe to the tree.
Yeah, to make the logo and stuff. And at the end, I just planted a new tree because I thought it's a good idea and good thing.
OK, so that makes you sound like a sort of a green country boy, yeah. But it also gives me the feeling that you have a little bit of a bad conscience. I mean, your sport has an impact on nature. Yeah.
Well, a really, really tiny one compared to anything else. I mean, that's not... I'd say there's nothing, actually, that you have to talk about. Like, we don't have motorbikes, we don't have engine, we don't lose oil or anything. We don't destroy anything, really, so...
I was asking the question a little bit because I'm a walker, I'm a mountain walker myself, and very often the people in the mountains, they complain about those guys on the mountain bikes. I know that. But we'll leave that one. How did your partnership with Lukas Thielke come about?
Well, Lukas is just a really, really, really good guy, and we just met years ago. And he started with some small projects and stuff, and we pretty much started our first video project with In the Woods 3, which is now 3 years ago. And the time he got bigger, I got bigger, and we just focused on projects together, and so it's been a really, really good and successful time.
The film is like it's a 6-7 minute film. Yeah. How long does it take to make what is a relatively short but pretty sort of high-class film?
Yeah.
How much work goes into it? Yeah,
the second one took like a really, really long time, considering the duration it got. So for those 6 minutes, it's a little bit less, a little bit more than 6 minutes. It took around 5 weeks, maybe 6, to film this quality and. Yeah.
And there's in the film, there's the wonderful jump, for example, you do across a kind of, I don't know what it is quite, like a river, yeah? River, yeah. So how far did you actually leap there?
I think it was around 12 meters, maybe.
Oof. Yeah, that's a big jump. And did you actually say, hey, Lucas, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to do the jump. You put the camera here and you go up and do it? Or do you, how many times do you have to do it to get it right? Or, yeah?
Well, I mean, Lucas doesn't have the time to be there all the time. So I built this jump, for example, this river jump, before he comes to me and I say, hey, I want to shoot this. And so we go there and... Well, the first try is always the most interesting one, that's for sure, yeah.
And it's interesting, just tell me how, we're talking about jumps, you explained the backflip, you explained the tail flip. These are really difficult jumps and they take quite a long time to learn. How do you learn them? What's the process?
Well, that's basically... Well, those tricks are the basics to go crazier and crazier for the tricks you need to do today. So... for those tricks, or especially for tricks while you're being upside down, there's foam pits. So there's like a big pit of foam.
Yeah.
And in front of this pit, there's a kicker. So you can actually get a feeling for the movement and land soft, even if you land bad or jump off your bike. It's not really dangerous, so you get a feeling not only for the trick, also how to escape out of a trick, to make it longer distance or to go shorter, and all those kinds of things what you need to get a feeling for before you do it on a real packed dirt jump.
Okay, and what I still haven't understood is when you're actually in competition, you're doing tricks, and somebody has to judge how well you are doing those tricks. Is there like a jury? Is it like in, I don't know what it, like in ice dancing, there are 4 people who say, I'll give him so and so many points. Is that how it works?
Yeah. There's always a jury, which needs to be at least 3 people. And those 3 people had to be qualified for this, or they went to school or to a judging clinic to be able to do this kind of job.
Okay. What kind of safety gear do you wear? I mean, obviously you wear a helmet when you're going at high speed. What else do you wear to make sure that you come out of this safe and sound?
Yeah, if I start here, I always wear ankle guards, which are like to support your ankle when you catch tricks or just, don't hurt your ankle. Then there's shin guards.
Oh, good. Shin pads.
Shin pads, yeah. There's like really big ones, so you can't really hurt either your muscles or your shin. And for sure, it's super important is good knee pads for big impact. I mean, your knee, you don't want to destroy your knee. And then depends on what kind of trick I'm doing. I wear elbow pads, gloves, and a helmet. And depends on how big the jump is. I'll start with the full-face helmet. But a full-face helmet, what people don't see isn't always the safer one, because you see less. You have less feeling or control on your bike. So when they see us just wearing a skate helmet, it's not only about being cool, it's about having more, to see more.
Okay. And how is your bike different from the kind of mountain bike that you might catch me cycling on?
Yeah. I'd say because it's way smaller and it's super light. It only has a rear brake because we don't really need a front brake. And one gear.
One gear?
Only one gear, yeah.
OK, and what I need from you is also a definition of some terms, because we've used these. Free ride means what?
Yeah, free ride basically explains the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Doesn't matter if you ride contests, if you only ride jumps, or if you go somewhere crazy through the forest. It's just being free. I mean, free riding, similar to ski. Okay,
so and then there are some other categories: slope style, park, and dirt.
So yeah, dirt is basically only made of dirt, which means there's a start tower where you get your speed, and then there's a rhythm line of jumps just in a row, and that's dirt jumps. And slopestyle is kind of more where you also have drops and like different kind of obstacles. Just a combination out of park and dirt. That's slopestyle. And park it's from BMX. It's ramps and quarter pipes and those kind of things.
It's great to see your enthusiasm as you talk about your sport. Wonderful, yeah? We haven't talked about the fact that you are Syrian, German, or what? How do you see it yourself, Amir? Do you call yourself Syrian, German, German, Syrian, or German simply? I'm curious.
Well, I'd say if people ask me, are you German, or you look different, or you have some different background, I always say I'm German, but my dad is from Syria. Oh, yeah. So because I can't really say I'm half Syrian, as there's not, there's not enough influence, like.
You're a very German Syrian person, I would have to say.
Yeah. I don't know.
A very German person. Your father, why did he come to Germany originally?
Yeah, because he studied and met my mom.
He fell in love.
He fell in love, so he came here to study, met my mom, and then, just...
OK, that's a nice story. A less nice story is the story of the war that has been going on in Syria for the last 3 years. What kind of impact has it had on your life? You must think about this sometimes.
Well, yeah, I just kind of, realize it as it's way closer to me than to other people, because my dad is from Syria and he got family there and still family there. And for example, my cousin who lives in Germany, he's also a doctor. He brought my uncle and my aunt to Germany to get them a safer life, and made sure that he will take care of all the payments and everything to have them here in Germany to protect them. So that's something I probably can't compare it with the feelings my dad has, because I'm German. I don't know too much about the whole thing, because I just don't have these feelings he got with his family, because I don't know them too
He must be thinking about it a lot at the moment, though. I mean, for me, I watch the images on television and I hear what's happening, and I work around the story from the German angle as a journalist. Yeah. And it's a terrible war. Do you guys, at home, do you and your father, the rest of the family, do you talk about it?
Sometimes. But I'd say my dad is a quiet guy, so he doesn't really want to talk too much about it.
Yeah, he's probably trying to deal with it in some sort of a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the fact that he knows that we don't have the same feelings like him. So it's just a waste of something, Yeah. So he has to focus on the things he would like to realize and support his family and do all the good things he can do from where he is right now. Yeah.
And what about you? Have you actually ever visited Syria?
Twice, but I was really young when I was around 11, 10, 11. So I was too young to really, get a real feeling about this country and how everything went. I just have really small memories.
And how do you? It was interesting, guys. We talk a lot. We talk a lot on this show. We talk a lot at Deutsche Welle. We talk a lot in Germany about the questions of integration. It must seem strange to you as somebody. You're a German. You've lived in Germany all your life. And people sometimes say to you, you just mentioned it, say to you, where do you come from? That must seem weird.
Well, it's weird because people, I don't know. It's a hard question. I mean, people don't know, or maybe don't even care too much where you're from, or where your origin is, or how the whole thing works and stuff. So, I don't know. I'm here, I'm German. People are like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm born here. Yeah. I don't know too much about Syria, but I'm proud to have this background. I mean, it's nothing bad. It's a good thing. So, yeah.
Great attitude. Wonderful. Best way to deal with the problem. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about Boppard on the Rhine.
Boppard on the Rhine. That's the place where I grew up, and that's the place I love, because I just kind of from time to time I recognized more and more how cool it is for me and for my sport, and it's actually super pretty. Yeah. I don't know. I just pretty much realized that there's so many tourists and stuff. We get used to it, but sometimes always get like a feeling that some people who visit you, they say, "Wow, what is this?" And I start telling, we got tons of castles and this and the wine, and so kind of remember myself how cool this place is. Yeah.
When you were living in Munich for those 3 years, when you went to Munich to train down there, did you miss Boppard?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was 17. I was not only missing Boppard, also my parents and my friends. So it wasn't really a big decision to say I'm going back. So.
For me, the big thing that I have discovered about sort of finding out about you and listening to what you've been talking about today is that your sport involves 2 things, maybe 3 things. One thing is being very fit as possible. The other thing is the things you do on your bike. And the other thing is what you do with this, yeah? We like to invite our guests to bring along a possession with them, and tell me why you've brought this along, or tell our viewers why you've brought this along.
Well, yeah, that's a shovel. That's, you know, that's a shovel. For other people, that's probably only a shovel. But for me, it's like a tool. A tool I use super often, and what's super important for me. And this one, for example, I bought this one in America, and it's like for me, it got the perfect shape.
You bought the shovel in America?
No, I ordered it from America.
Okay.
So I didn't go there.
So Germany can't make shovels like this?
No, it seems like every country has their own shape of shovel or different shapes. And this is just the perfect shape for me and the stuff I built. So yeah, I decided to take one of those.
And we were talking about Boppard, yeah? And it's interesting, you have some kind of arrangement with the authorities, with the city fathers or the city mothers in Boppard, yeah? That they say, in a very un-German way, you can go out there and go on the hills and do what you do, yeah?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's like a official bike park I started to build up before I moved to Munich. And, whoa. Sleeping. So I mean, for those 3 years there was a break. I couldn't really take care of the whole thing. Yeah. But once I got back, I took care again of the whole thing, and I make sure that there is no garbage and everything is good, and there's stuff for amateurs and stuff. So they say, okay, you take care of it, but so you can kind of have your freedom. I have there my line for my practice and everything. So it's kind of a cool arrangement I got with those guys. I make sure that everything is fine and the park looks good. OK, we started with your injury. We started with your accident. And I'm still curious about whether the time that you have had off from the sport has been a time of reflection. Yeah? What have you discovered about yourself in this time? I definitely kind of got a way better connection to my body. I pretty much started realizing how close my head and my body kind of connects together, and how important your head is for the healing process. So that's what I definitely realized. And it's just, yeah, I kind of have a better feeling, which is so important now, which I'm really looking forward to. Yeah. OK, and you still have the ambition of staying in the sport until you're 30 or so. You know, what is your goal in those years? Well, for sure, for this year, my goal is to finish this video project, which I have been working on for so many months. Yeah. And I want to finish this, and don't want to put too much pressure on myself right now to say I'm going to ride a contest in the next 2 months, because I'm not sure my head needs to be there. I need to be fit for this, and even if it's after 1 month, I'm going there because I want to do this. So I want to realize a few different creative video projects and my contest for sure. Okay, wonderful. We're going to round off now, Amir, with our typical Talking Germany quiz at the end of the programme. Get sort of alternatives. Big city or small town? Small town. Yeah. For sure. Uphill or downhill? Downhill. How fast do you go when you're going downhill? Top speed? Oh, I have no idea. It depends on the track. So I'd say 250 maybe. No, I don't know actually. Digging or jumping? Jumping for sure. Yeah. What's tougher, going down a mountain on a mountain bike or sitting still for 45 minutes on a talk show? Sitting still on a talk show, that's for sure. You've done a good job, though. Well done. Yeah. That's all the time we have for this time round on Talking Germany. Our guest, a man with a penchant for danger, the brave and charming Amir Kabani. If you've enjoyed his company as much as I have, come back next week. Bye-bye. Cheers.